Yo, welcome back. And if you're new here, my name is Kim. Today we'll be doing a March reading wrap up, which will be my second reading wrap up. I kind of don't want to include the first video I ever made, but hey, I did wrap up a couple of videos. But yes, it'll be our second one for March. Is this a couple months late? Yes. I think maybe like 2 months late, but that's fine. Whatever. Regardless, I did want to share the books I did read in March, and it was a pretty great batch. It's not that much, but still I had a 5-star in there. But before we get into it, since we're still getting to know each other, I'm still pretty new on the platform, you don't really know how I rate books, and so I wanted to, it's not that strict, it's not that crazy, but to understand my star rating scale out of 5 stars, I'll break down each one and like how I perceive what's a 5-star and how I perceive what's a 1-star and whatnot. So I'll go down the list. We'll start with the 5-star, right? 5-star ratings essentially is I loved it. I cried. I giggled. I smiled, right? Like I got damn near emotional damage reading this book. It could be a life-changing book. I can't stop thinking about you type book. You remind me of the importance how powerful books and any form of storytelling is. That to me is like a 5-star rating. That being said, it could just be purely on vibes in terms of like I think the big thing is like I can't stop thinking about you leads to a lot of books in my heart to a 5-star, because it's like how I kind of rate movies in my head. If I still think about you and I'm already done with you, it's crazy. But yeah, it could be either be vibes or everything I just mentioned. That to me is a 5-star. So going down from a 4-star, which is just as good as 5-star, just not the full package deal of how I feel. I experienced a wild ride of emotions. Like the storytelling's really good. This is a book you would recommend to a friend. You would still recommend 3 stars, but before we get there, you would highly recommend to a friend type book with a 4. If I rate a book 4 stars, or a very specific friend, it doesn't matter. But it's like, oh yeah, you should read this too type book, right? With disclaimers if needed. And it's also rereadable. I think at 4 stars, anything could be rereadable. It doesn't have to be 4 stars, but for me to reread it, it has to be up there. For me to be like, oh yeah, for sure. Like you probably enjoy it the second time around type book. That's a 4-star read for me. Then we go down to 3 stars. 3 stars? Okay, I have a lot of 3 stars. Definitely for my April reads. Definitely. 3 stars are solid books, y'all. Okay? Like, they are good books. They are everything, or, they're not life-changing, which is fine, okay? It's a great story. I enjoyed the whole journey from beginning to end. Would probably reread in the far future. Like, it wouldn't be like an immediate rereadable book. It'd be more like, if I get to you, or like I don't mind listening to you or whatnot. It's just more in the far future. It'd be like last on the list. What else would I consider 3 stars? Good to have conversations with a friend with. I think a lot of, I don't know, for me, 3 stars is very solid. I enjoyed you type book. We can talk about it with friends and then move on type book, That to me is what a 3-star read is. Down to 2 stars. 2 stars. I only have one book that I've ever rated 2 stars, but 2 stars for me. It is comically bad, but enjoyable, okay? Like, I say comically bad because I don't know. There's books I read that is just so ridiculous. As you can tell, I laugh a lot, right, to myself and whatnot. I'm just like a giggly person. And if I'm reading something I'm not enjoying, I tend to just laugh how ridiculous it is. But I'm still gonna read it. Like, I'm still gonna continue. 2 stars, I'm not putting you down just yet. I'm going to be like all the way to the very end. Let's see. Literally jaw-dropping how ridiculous the book can be also. Stuff like that. And like a sprinkle of really good moments just doesn't really stick out. But there were some good moments in the story, Like you can't lie about the good parts in a 2-star book. Right? So that's 2 stars. And then we go down to 1 star, which I haven't had a 1-star read yet. But to me, it's really just a book. It's a book. It has words, it has pages. I finished it. Like a pat on the shoulder for finishing it, right? And that's honestly it. I feel like I wouldn't talk about in great lengths for a 1-star read. I feel like it's a book I probably forced myself to finish. Not saying you should force yourself to finish books, but still, if I ever gave one star, I just probably wouldn't spend time talking about it. And of course, the no stars. No stars falls into like DNF, soft DNF, like I'll just read you later, or I started it and I'll just read you later. I don't count them. I need to finish it, in my opinion, if I'm going to give it any type of rating. I hope that helps give you a solid foundation about the books I rate from here on out. I won't repeat this every time, so if you see this video and then from here on out for all our reads, our wrap-ups, that's what they're called, right? From all our wrap-ups, then it should be good. But yeah, let's hop into it. Let's start our March reads. Sorry, I had to go get some coffee because I'm going to be very thirsty doing this. I'm going to have to also film the April wrap-up. So it's going to be busy. It's going to be busy. Vietnamese iced coffee. It's the only stuff that actually works for me. It's the only thing I feel something. Feel alive. Okay. In order of when I read them, we're going to start real strong here, and I'm very excited to bring up this book. But the first one is going to be the Legendborn series, but the first book, Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. First of all, she looks gorgeous, okay? God, I love the cover. I'm sad that I didn't get hardback in this one. I want all the books in hardback because I have, okay, you know what? Let me tell you the rating first. Let me get ahead of myself. I'll tell you the book and then I'll tell you the rating of the book. 5 stars. Easily 5-star read for me. I did not expect anything going into it. I've heard people recommended this book, but besides that, and I've heard a little bit of how the story starts off, right? But I'm very, very, very glad that I got into this book without knowing much. I think it's going to be the same spiel I'm going to be telling you all for all the books I've read. I have seen reviews and whatnot for some, but because of my memory, I swear, I just tend to forget after a while. Maybe because I play a lot of videos in the background while I'm doing errands, so I'm really like half paying attention. But I've only heard some good things, and of course, everyone has different taste in books, so just because my favorite like YouTuber or content creator likes it doesn't mean I won't. So very, 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 very freaking happy. She also, I think a lot of like girls can feel the same way. She feels like me when I take out my braids, and not feels like me, but she looks like me. Kind of in my head. Okay, maybe not exactly the same, but it's more of that like representation of just having like a beautiful black woman on the cover. You know what I mean? When my hair is curly, maybe I'll insert a photo, probably not because it's a little bit embarrassing. It's wild like this, and so that already sold me. But the story, like how much the story is in this little book, it's not even little. Let me go ahead and tell you like a quick synopsis of it. I'll try my best not to say as much spoilers as possible. Of course, that is between you and your range of what you consider a spoiler. So mine may be like spoiler or vague, but I will say when I start talking about like my personal reflection on the books, that will, in my opinion, be very spoilery. Like I won't be dropping plots, but I feel like you can tell how a book is based on my reaction to it. And so when it comes to the personal reflection part, like I will warn you, I may or may not spoil something. All right, but at least the synopsis, if you just want to know what the book is about, I will try my hardest not to say too many spoilers, but I'll go ahead and start. So in the beginning of this book, right, we start off where our main protagonist, Bree, loses her mom. And from there, we follow her experience how to pretty much cope with grief. And grief is a huge thing throughout all the books. In the past few months leading up to college, where she goes with her and her best friend, then from there out, she experienced a huge life-changing moment. And that life-changing moment will test her existing friends, her existing family relationships, while she's also trying to like unravel the mystery surrounding her mother's death and her own self in ways she could never imagine. So this is like Oh, and the biggest thing, it is a modern day twist on the Arthurian legend. So King Arthur stuff. I know a little bit of King Arthur because of some movies I've watched that are very heavily inspired on the King Arthur myth as well, and the stories that comes along with him, and his whole round table. Besides that, I don't know the details. I feel like, given with someone like me that knew not too much about the Arthurian legend, it is a slight learning curve, I will say. It is a heavy thing in the first book for sure. She does give you guides though. There's a page where she breaks down like certain things about each character and like their weapons, their bloodlines, because there's so many characters. But if you can kind of get over that hurdle or learn, because it's throughout the whole series. I mean, I haven't read the third book yet, but at least between the first two books, it helps. And they'll keep bringing it up, so it'll be hammered down into you about this world, essentially. This world and the magic system. So I can see how people might get slightly confused because there's a lot of story to it. But honestly, yeah, if you just get over that hurdle for any type of book where it's like a huge fantasy and world building, you'll love it. I mean, I hope you do. I personally do. As I said, this is a 5-star, and if I start moving on to my reflections about this book, I think everyone should read this, honestly. But when it comes to my own reflections, I feel like, I don't know. Oh gosh, I read this so long ago because now it's been a couple months, but I'm trying not to switch the impact of it because of the second book. I have such strong feelings of the second book. The first one was perfect. I don't know. I thought the first one was perfect. I did not expect certain things to happen. I was so happy that our main character wasn't annoying. At least to me. I think this may enter spoiler category, but what I appreciate, not everyone's perfect. Definitely these characters, they're not perfect. They have their own flaws. But I feel like the art of apologizing, if you know what I mean, just in general, not even like not specifically based on this book alone, but when someone makes a mistake and they own up to their mistake, even in real life, y'all, like the art of apologizing, I feel just gets lost. And I just like that. Maybe she doesn't have to apologize. She does apologize a lot though, but the self-reflecting of what you did was wrong was there. Her internal monologue, the conversations between other characters and herself, the conversations between her and her best friend. Yo, like I got feelings, like the heated moments, the emotional moments, and definitely when she talks about grief, as someone who lost a parent too, myself, you know, like I feel it. So everyone copes with grief differently. How I read the book or how I interpret it will be different from your experience. So based on like if you did suffer from a moment very similar to Bree or like experience grief yourself. That being said, I highly recommend. Beautiful book. Beautiful, beautiful. I want this to have a special edition. I'm not sure if there is already one out for it besides just your hardback. So I'm waiting. Maybe if all 4 books come out already and then like the other publishing like to decide to come out with a special edition, I cannot freaking wait. This deserves its own. As someone who collects special edition like copies, this deserves one. I'm just going to wait for it, okay? But yeah, that is the Legendborn series. Next. Oh, this is like a book that me and my friends were reading, and we also still have to discuss it together with the girls. So I don't want to say too much about like my feelings into this book on here because I want to talk with them first. I'm just excited to speak about it. And it's a book that a lot of people have read. It's a book that a lot of people have mentioned already. You've seen this before, and I 100% see why this is a book it's popular for book clubs. Dun, 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 Yellowface. Yall. Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. And I think this is my very first book reading from her writing. I'm pretty sure, if I think about my January reads, or my February reads, I don't think I've read another book from her. So, a very, very, very brief summary on this book. This is so silly, but essentially, what is theft? You know what I mean? What's your definition of theft? What's your definition of doing the right thing, okay? Once you know your definition of that, then we can talk, all right? Pretty much this book follows an author just trying to make it in the industry, the publishing industry, or, she's an author, so she's trying to write her book. But she can't help herself but compare herself to her friend who's very successful, and she watched her friend grow. They're both authors, so same industry, same field of work, and they've lived amongst each other for a very long time. She watched her grow and she watched her success. So you can only imagine the type of feelings you have. And you don't have to be an author to understand this. Just in general, if you think about your personal field of work, your personal field of craft. I mean, shoot, even being a YouTuber, if you're watching this and you're a YouTuber, you would probably understand too. When you see someone that you started from the very beginning, or almost the very beginning, both have the same passions, you're doing the same thing almost, but still different because you're your own two different people. And one shoots off, becomes like more popular, becomes more successful, and you're not there. But you started at the same time. I don't know. Not that I don't know, but do you understand the feels, right? That's all I'm going to say. I feel like you've probably heard a lot about this book, but I don't want to assume that. But I do want you if you haven't heard this book at all, I do want you to go into it without knowing the plots or even the potential plots. It's a great book in my opinion. Oh, shoot, the star rating. Don't hate me. Again, we talked about my star rating. So don't hate me. I know this is a lot of people's 5-star, but for me personally, it was like a solid 3-star. All right. Like I'm a very happy 3-star. If you could put like emojis or like smiley or sad faces or whatever, like faces next to the star rating, it's like a super happy 3 stars. Okay. Not so much of a 4-star, not so much of a 5-star feel for me. When I look at it, I'm like, yeah, you're a pretty good book. If anything, kind of like what I said earlier, it's a very good book club book because the way you can dissect this, and not like hella deep, but everyone will interpret how and what is going on in the book differently. So I can see why this is something that you should talk about with friends, right? For my personal reflection, for how I felt about the book, one, it's been a long time. Not a long time. I keep thinking January is a long time, but maybe because I'm so busy. I haven't read a book in first person in a while, all right? It's been, I think, since Fourth Wing. That's the most I've read in that style. So it was more of an adjustment for me being like, oh my God, girl, you talk so much. But I was like, no, duh, because that's how the story is being told. I'm just like, I think she's talking so much. I should say this in the beginning, but this is a book I listened to on audio as well. I think it's enjoyable on audio, or maybe you might be more annoyed. I don't know. But this book is supposed to make you feel feelings. All right? This book is supposed to make you feel some type of way. But like in a very entertaining way. I don't think it's something to take personal. I don't know. Not everyone can handle it. I know people get irritated reading this, but I thought it was very, very, very entertaining. I didn't know about the publishing industry like that. I don't know how true to word it is, but like the experience sounds coming from an author's point of view. This is the first I've ever read anything about it, and it's very entertaining and like very upsetting how it actually all works, or even just a portion of what other people might experience in the industry. But not only the publishing industry, everyone that is related to books got like burned. You know what I mean? Like if you do book reviews, if you do book vlogs, if you do all sorts of book content you can imagine that people want to talk about. And if you are an author and you want your book to be out there, like you want to push out in these platforms. So those platforms, like everyone just got made fun of. And I thought that was pretty fun. There's of course more deeper messages towards this, right? And as someone who's like a person of color, someone who's a minority, I feel it. There's definitely more messages in it. I don't want to get too deep into that. because I do want you to talk. I feel like you should talk about it with your friends. You should talk about it with like your book club. If you're in a book club, I'm holding my feelings to talk about it with my friends' book club. So I don't want to like spill it out here because I want to speak with them first. Because I don't know, these feelings, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. There's so many irritating things that happen. Our main character was huge, like, shake your head vibes. Like, girl, what are you doing? You know what I mean? So many times in the car, because I was listening to it in the car, that I was like, bitch, please, get it together. Like, you would, girl, you would. It was enjoyable. That's all I can say. It was enjoyable. 3 stars. So the next book we're going to talk about is Sweet Bean Paste. Sweet Bean Paste is a book I listened to on audiobook mainly. I listened to it on hair braiding day. Hair braiding days for me take a couple hours. As in a couple hours, I mean literally half a day. When I do this specific style, this is called French curl braids if you're not familiar. This takes me 12 plus hours easy, and Sweet Bean Paste was very short. I'll correct myself later, but I think it was like 10 hours or so. I was like, oh, perfect. I can finish the whole thing in one braiding session. And it ended up working out so well. And I think now my favorite thing to do when I do hair braiding days is going to be listening to audiobooks. It works. I can focus so well on the story while doing something so repetitive at the same time. So starting off with the summary. We follow a man named Sentaro who sells teriyaki in a small shop in Japan. As he goes along his usual day-to-day routine, a strange elderly woman walks into his life. Throughout the book, we are following along their journey and the relationship that blossoms between each of them and the people that surround them. We slowly unravel who Sentaro is, our main character, and how he got to where he is. And most importantly, we get to know who the elderly woman is. She pretty much, in my opinion, steals the show. This isn't personal reflections yet, but even though our main character is Sentaro, I think she's truly the main character. The elderly woman, like, you cannot stop thinking about the elderly woman. So that's like a quick summary. I feel like I didn't summarize it too well, but again, I didn't want to mention too many things. There's so many things that happen in that book. And I just want you to be shocked. Don't go into it. Like, don't look up too much, okay? This is definitely one of those. I feel like the moment you read the big drop or the big surprise, I had no clue, all right? I don't read the synopsis that often. And if I do, I forget about it before going into the book. I straight up had no clue this was going to happen in the book. And I'm glad I didn't. And I'm glad I wasn't spoiled. So that's all I'm going to tell. That's all I'm going to say. Like a quick summary of Sweet Bean Paste. Solid 3 stars, okay? Now, moving on to the personal reflection portion, which is going to, once again, it's going to be a little bit spoilery. But, I did not expect it to be as sad as it was going to be, okay? I honestly thought the main focus was going to be food. It's called Sweet Bean Paste. I thought it was going to be talking about making sweet bean paste and like wholesome slice of life. You know what I mean? That's what I thought the book was going to be about. Yo! Once the elderly woman came into the scene and we got to know more about who she is and why she's even there in the first place, what she's gone through, her history, her past, the stuff that she's been through, essentially, the unfairness. I got a little emotional. Yo, I cried. I cried a little bit, okay? And who wants to be crying while braiding their hair? There's other characters, but those are the two. There's a third character that comes in, but she doesn't have too much of a big role. She just adds more to, in my opinion, to the environment of it all. Sentaro, he's just trying to figure out his life, and it's cool. We do learn about him a little bit more as well. You go into the feelings and just, I don't know what more to say. I enjoyed it. My personal reflection of the overall book was like, I got surprised it was going to go there, you know, in the feels. And I thought it ended really well, too. Oh, not the endings. Okay. Anyways, moving on. Beautiful book. You should definitely give it a read. Moving on to the next one. Another audiobook. And I think it was because I listened to it on audiobook, I think I ruined it for myself in a way, and I'll tell you why in a minute. 3 stars. It is called The Healing Season of Pottery. If you don't know, I love pottery. I love ceramics. It's like my bread and butter. It's something I love to do. I just don't do it often anymore. But you sold me at pottery, okay? You sold me, it's like, okay, a story involving pottery. I need to hear this, right? Because I listened to it on audiobook, I don't think I was able to connect with it as hard because I was doing other things at the same time. It wasn't the same experience when I do my hair braid, all right, or braiding hair day. Braiding hair day, I am super locked into whatever I'm listening to at the moment, and that is it. Like, this is repetitive. I can do this with my eyes closed, but with the book, it's like I imagined a whole movie being played. This one, I think I was doing other, like, errands and whatnot, and I can see why people say that they can't focus when they listen to audiobooks. That's not usually the case for me, but when I was listening to this book from beginning to end, I don't own the physical copy for this. I wish I did read it physical copy. One, I got the names mixed up. So that was my bad. They have Korean names and their names are very similar between other characters. So I just got a little bit confused only because I listened to it. I feel like if I immerse read, so if I was reading it and listening to it at the same time, if I saw how it's being spelled on the page, I would not have this mix up. All right, so that's kind of leaning towards personal reflection. But a short summary of it, it's almost like a slice of life. There is like a big overall meaning to our main character that we're following. She pretty much wants to get out of the city. Let me not say that. She doesn't want to get out of the city. She's stressed, right? She's stressed from her work. She's around 30 years old as well. So she's like lived a life. She's done a lot of things at this point, but she's not happy. And so she goes away and joins like a pottery shop for ceramics and learns how to do ceramics to just clear her mind and just get away from all like the nonsense she had to deal with. She's good at what she does, but she's not enjoying it. It's very much that kind of vibe. And how I kind of interpret the whole thing, the rest of the book, felt more slice of life. Like, it was more like day to day and like what we're doing today. And these are the people that come and go in the shop. She also meets some old friends, all right, which is kind of awkward for her. She's like, ugh. But yeah, it's just other people coming in and you understand like their background or, oh, what are you doing here kind of thing. And like, they all have their own things. But it's really like, that's all I can say about the summary. It's very like slice of life. In my opinion, slice of life. She learns a lot towards the end, and I'm really proud of her. You get to be very proud of her towards the end too, like figuring out what you truly want out of it. But yeah, that's Healing Season of Pottery. I feel like I'm not selling it. I'm horrible when I wrap up books, I swear. Moving on to a personal reflection, even though I felt like half the time I was talking about was a personal reflection, I enjoyed the pottery portion a lot. I enjoyed how they interpret and tell the story through like the frustrations. If you've done ceramics, please let me know. But you understand this as definitely if you're a person that likes to be perfect all the time, which is very much like our main character, right? If you want to be perfect all the time, that is very hard. It's very hard to do as a beginner ceramicist. It's very hard to do in the very beginning stages in pottery and working with clay because you still need to learn the techniques. Of course, with any craft you do. But when it comes to drying out your clay, making sure everything's even, once it comes to putting it in the kiln, and we always, at least for my class for ceramics, we're always just like, listen, we're just going to pray to the kiln gods, and that's it. That's all you can do. You just have to let it do its thing. Of course, there's more technical aspects to it, like the degrees and the burning and how long you burn it for, but that being said, there's a lot of things that go into it. You can't expect it to be perfect every time. Even when you do the painting, when you're glazing, it won't come out perfect every time. It's like accepting that. But getting good at it is very exciting, right? The act of getting good at it. So when the book was describing the ceramics part, that portion of it, and I was very like nerding out and very excited to be like, oh my god, I totally understand. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that it was her version, or like her getaway essentially, in order to figure out things out, because that's a lot of us who join ceramics or learn it for the first time. I'm not going to speak to everyone, of course, but at least the people in my class when I did it, I think like 2 years ago already, a lot of people, like all like ages and ranges, which is similar in the book, right? In the shop, there's like young kids, and then you have like older adults, and then you have people very much older, but everyone can do it. That's the beauty of ceramics. We all have our reasons, and a lot of people just feel at peace, feel at home. Even though ceramics can be very frustrating, okay? Definitely, again, if you're very similar to me and you want to be perfect all the time, it can be frustrating, but once you learn to let go and just enjoy the process, it's fun, all right? It's fun. And she's just having a grand, fun old time. She gets a pet. I enjoyed it. A very solid 3 stars. No way could I give it 2 stars. I think it's truly my fault that I didn't read it, or I did like immersive reading and had the physical copy while also listening to the audiobook. Because I don't know, I feel like that hindered me from having like a true experience just for this book specifically. And so now picking books out, if the names are too similar, if I know I need to see it on paper, I might need to like wait until I have a physical copy of the book. But yeah. That's the healing season of Pottery. And that's pretty much my March reads. I hope I did, better job than the first video, okay? Like, let's not talk about January and February, okay? I wanted to do bi-monthly, but I feel like that's too long and I keep pushing it off. So I'll release this one as like, I'll do month to month. I also want this to be fun for myself. I don't want to make it feel like homework, because writing this down to make sure I don't ramble too much is really hard. It almost felt like homework. But I did want to start the join the conversation, because these are popular books that a lot of people have read. And so this is just like another random girl, the random girl point of view into, and like how I interpret the books and how I enjoyed the books and how I rated the books, I guess. But ratings honestly don't mean anything. At least, I don't know, like everyone's personal rating. It's just their personal rating, right? But yeah, a lot of like 3 stars. I hope you enjoyed. If you like these videos, please give a thumbs up. If you have tips or tricks or whatnot, let me know. I don't know what those tips or tricks are, but we're still new to the channel. We're still new to like doing a wrap-up type video for, for books. Hopefully I wasn't all over the place. I'll see you at the next one, okay?